I gave him a second chance after the first affair. I believed the tears, the therapy, the promises. Then I found the hidden phone. "You'll never leave me," he said when I showed him the messages. So I let him believe that. I smiled, packed his lunch, and waited until his birthday too. I never thought I'd be the kind of woman writing one of these stories. I thought I was smart. Careful. I married someone who wasn't flashy, who wasn't smooth. Ross was quiet, steady. He wasn't hot, wasn't rich, wasn't even funny, but I thought he was safe. He didn't flirt. He didn't party. He worked in a beige office doing beige things with beige people. I married him when I was 28. We bought a home in Spring Hill, Tennessee, about 30 miles south of Nashville. Suburbia in every direction. Little white fences, gas station coffee, and 2 grocery stores 5 minutes apart. We had 2 kids, Eli and Taylor. We coached soccer. We did library reading nights. I made crockpot meals and paid bills on time. We were boring. And I was fine with boring. Until I wasn't. He went to a regional insurance conference in Memphis. He was gone 3 nights. Came back tired, said it was all meetings and bad food. He brought back a keychain for Taylor, like that made him thoughtful. 2 weeks later, I was doing laundry when I found the hotel receipt in his jacket pocket. Not from the conference hotel, like he'd told me. A separate hotel across the city. One night. King Suite. I confronted him that night, after the kids were in bed. I held up the receipt and asked calmly, "You forget which hotel your work paid for?" He froze. Eyes flicked to the TV like maybe it would swallow him up. That night, I watched him fall apart. Tears. Begging. Admitting he got drunk at the bar, that she came on to me, and it didn't mean anything. I was in shock, shaking. I told him to leave. He slept at his brother's for a week. Then came the therapy. He said he wanted to change. That it scared him to almost lose me. I was hurt. But I still loved him. I still believed our life was worth saving. So I gave him that chance. We did counseling every week for months. He cried more. Bought me flowers. Got a tattoo on his wrist of our wedding date. Like that was supposed to prove something. He said he had a sickness, that he was working on it. And I believed him. I wanted to believe him. That was mistake number 1. About a year later, things felt okay. Not perfect, but livable. He was home more. Didn't hide his phone. Took the kids to school without being asked. Said the right things. Showed up to therapy. One morning, he left for work like usual. I was doing deep cleaning because it was a rare day off from the office. While stripping our bed, I noticed something under the dresser. Not dust, not a sock. It was a cheap little prepaid phone. One of those burner phones you get at Walmart for $40. I thought maybe it belonged to Eli, maybe he found one in a drawer and was messing with it. But it wasn't locked. And it wasn't Eli's. It had only one contact, Nikki. I opened the texts. My stomach turned. There were pictures. Messages. Voice recordings. "I love when you sneak out to see me. She's so boring. You're my real life. Can't stop thinking about last Friday night." I sat on the floor in total silence. My hands were cold. I scrolled and scrolled, messages going back 9 months. He'd been living in our house, hugging our kids, sleeping in our bed, kissing my forehead every morning, and all the while, he was still doing this. Worse than before. Because this time, he didn't even try to hide it from me. He just figured I wouldn't find it. That night, I waited until the kids were in bed. We were watching TV when I got up and grabbed the burner phone from under the sink where I'd stashed it. I handed it to him. No words. He looked at it like it was a snake in his lap. Tried to fake confusion. What's this? You tell me, I said. He opened it. I watched him read one message. That was all it took. He sighed. Closed his eyes. Then the lies started. It's not what you think, I didn't mean for it to go this far, you don't understand how empty I've been feeling, but I didn't say anything. I just stared at him. That's when something in his voice changed. Something colder. Sharper. He looked at me, dead serious, and said, "You're never leaving me. You can't." I blinked. Excuse me? He leaned forward, voice low. You need me. You don't have family here. You work part-time. You'd never survive without me. You won't leave. I stared at him. And I smiled. Okay, I said. You're right. I got up and made him a sandwich for the next day. Poured him a glass of water. Kissed him goodnight. And I started planning. Over the next 6 months, I didn't argue. I didn't confront. I didn't cry. I watched. I studied. I played the long game. I met with a lawyer. Quietly, during lunch breaks. I opened a new bank account in my name only. I moved small amounts of money at a time. I photocopied every document in our filing cabinet, taxes, pay stubs, retirement accounts, everything. I printed out every text from the burner phone. Over 300 screenshots. I sorted them by date, labeled them, stored them in a binder hidden at the bottom of my closet. I even contacted Nikki. Through a fake Facebook account. I found out she didn't even know he was married. He'd told her I was his mentally unstable ex who lived out of state. Said I had supervised visitation only. She was disgusted. Furious. We agreed to stay in touch. And then I waited. I waited for the right day. A day when people would see him. When he wouldn't be able to spin it or hide it or lie his way out. So I picked his birthday. He wanted a big celebration that year. It's been a hard year, he said. I deserve something good. He said he wanted to show everyone how strong our marriage is now. I said, you're right. Let's do it. He smiled like a fool. Ross's 45th birthday was on a Saturday. He wanted a backyard party at his sister's house in Franklin, bigger space, pool, grill. He asked me to send out invites to friends, family, coworkers. He even asked me to make a slideshow of our best memories to play on the TV inside. So I did. I added pictures from our wedding. The kids being born. Vacations. Family dinners. And then, mixed in toward the end, I quietly added a few extras. A photo of him and Nikki, one he sent to her shirtless, with our bedroom in the background. A screenshot where he wrote, I wish she'd just disappear so I could be with you. And another, she's too dumb to leave. I've got her right where I want her. That slideshow was ready to go. But the real surprise? I had invited Nikki to the party. And she said yes. 2 weeks before the party, Ross started acting strange. I think he sensed something. He got paranoid. Started asking to go through my phone. Started showing up to my work just to say hi. One night, I caught him checking my purse while I was in the shower. I didn't flinch. I played calm. I told him I was grateful we'd made it through the rough patch. That I felt closer to him now. I made his favorite meals. Cleaned the house. Bought him new cologne. He smiled more. He stopped checking my phone. He was finally convinced I wasn't going anywhere. The night before the party, he was in such a good mood. He said, I knew you'd see reason. You're not like other women. You know how to protect your family. I said, I do. I really do. The house was packed. His sister decorated the backyard with streamers. There was a cake with his name on it, balloons everywhere, burgers on the grill. His parents were there. Coworkers. Neighbors. Even our pastor. Everyone was laughing. Chatting. I smiled at all of them. Played the perfect wife. I saw Nikki arrive out back, just as planned. She was wearing jeans and a red tank top. She looked pissed. She also had a folder in her hand. I nodded at her once from across the yard. That was our signal. When everyone had eaten and it was time for cake, his sister handed me the remote for the slideshow. Ross stood in the middle of the crowd, arm around me, beaming. I just want to thank my beautiful wife, he said. She never gave up on me. People clapped. I smiled. You're welcome, Ross. Then I hit play. The first few photos were sweet. Our wedding. A beach trip. The kids in Halloween costumes. Then came the first text screenshot. She's just a warm body, not a real partner. Laughter stopped. Silence spread. Next, the shirtless selfie with our bed clearly in the background. His sister gasped. Then a video clip, his voice, whispering in bed, "You drive me crazy. I hate going home to that nagging cow." The room exploded in noise. Ross lunged toward the screen, yanked the cord out of the TV. But it was too late. People had seen. His pastor looked like he'd swallowed a tack. His mom was sobbing. His co-workers whispered and shook their heads. And then Nikki stepped forward. "I'm Nikki," she said, loud and clear. "And I had no idea he was married. He told me you were dead. Said he was a single dad." Ross turned white. She opened her folder and started reading messages he'd sent her just 2 nights earlier. "I'm stuck with her until the kids are older. I can't leave now or she'll take the house." She looked around. "He lied to me for over a year. I thought he was widowed. And she pointed to me, she's the one holding this family together. Not him." People were frozen. No one came to his defense. And then his dad, his own father, said, "Get out of my daughter's house." Ross tried to talk. Tried to stammer out excuses. "This isn't what it looks like. She set me up." But no one cared. His mother told him she was ashamed. His sister threatened to call the police if he didn't leave. His co-workers left without saying goodbye. I walked up to him, handed him a manila envelope. Inside was the divorce filing. Already signed. "Happy birthday, Ross." Ross moved out the same night. No big fight. No drama at the house. He tried to yell, but nobody listened. His brother drove him back to his place, and I heard later that his parents cut off contact for a while. They were humiliated. His mom texted me an apology. Said I didn't deserve any of this. I didn't respond. I spent the next day with the kids. We made pancakes. Watched movies. I didn't tell them everything, but I told them Dad was going to live somewhere else for a while. Taylor cried. Eli went silent. I knew it would take time, but at least now, the truth could start to breathe. I thought that was it. But then things got messy. The next week, I got a call from his office. Not mine, his. One of the women from HR said Ross wasn't coming back. Apparently, someone emailed the slideshow screenshots to the entire team. And the CEO. He was fired. No severance. No reference letter. He blamed me. I got a string of texts. "You ruined my life. You crossed a line. This isn't over." I blocked him. Changed my number. Then I filed for a restraining order. Told the lawyer everything. He said Ross had no leg to stand on. Still, I wasn't stupid. I added cameras around the house. Gave the school a heads up. Made sure he couldn't pick the kids up without written notice. He never tried to fight for custody. Not once. I think deep down he knew he'd already lost them. I hadn't spoken to Nikki since the party, but a month later, she messaged me from a new account. She asked if we could talk. I agreed, but only in public. We met at a coffee shop near Nolensville. She looked tired. Eyes puffy. No makeup. She told me she'd moved out of her apartment. Said she'd been living with Ross for a few weeks before the party. I was stunned. He told you I was dead, Nikki. She looked ashamed. He said you died in a car accident in Alabama. That your parents had custody of the kids. I swear, I believed him. He even showed me a photo of a grave. I just stared at her. Then she reached into her bag and pulled out a small zip drive. I took this from his laptop the day after the party, she said. I think you should see it. That night, I plugged it into my laptop and felt my stomach drop. It was a folder full of hidden files. Photos. Videos. Copies of private documents. Bank statements, emails, even a file labeled escape plan. He had been planning to disappear. There was a fake resume. An email to a recruiter in Florida under the name Mark Rerddit. A scanned fake ID. A one-way flight booked for October 3rd, 3 months from when I found the burner phone. He wasn't just cheating. He was going to take our money, vanish, and leave me to pick up the pieces. I went back to the lawyer with all of it. He brought in a forensic accountant. We found nearly $48,000 missing over the past 2 years. Not just from our joint account, but from my parents' estate savings, which I had linked once during probate. Ross had stolen from me. From the kids. From my dead father's will. That was the final line. My lawyer filed for fraud. Civil theft. Identity misuse. He filed motions to freeze Ross's accounts. He didn't even fight it. He just vanished for a while. Until I saw him again. It was a Wednesday. Rainy. I was picking up groceries at the Kroger on Main. I was walking to my car when I saw him. Standing by the cart return, soaked. Beard overgrown. Jacket 2 sizes too big. He looked wrecked. Cass, he called out. I stopped. He walked up slowly. No yelling this time. No swagger. I lost everything, he said. You win. You happy now? I looked him dead in the eye. You think this was about winning? You were going to leave your kids, Ross. You robbed me. Lied. Over and over. He didn't say anything. I could have just walked. I could have kept my mouth shut. But I wanted everyone to know who you really are. Then I turned and got in my car. He didn't follow me. After that day in the parking lot, I didn't see Ross again for almost a year. But the fallout didn't stop. The fraud case moved forward. My lawyer pushed hard. With the bank records, the screenshots, the zip drive Nikki gave me, and Ross's flight confirmation under a fake name, we had enough to crush him. A judge granted us an emergency judgment. Froze his accounts. Garnished what little money he still had. The $48,000 he stole? He had to repay every cent, with interest. That wasn't the end of it. The district attorney opened a criminal investigation for identity theft and fraud. It wasn't just our money. Turned out, Ross had opened a credit card in my dead father's name. He used it to buy electronics, gift cards, and pay for hotel rooms with Nikki. He didn't just lie. He used the name of a man buried in the ground to cheat. There's no fixing that. He pled guilty. He didn't go to prison. He got 3 years probation, a felony on his record, and he lost his professional license. Couldn't work in insurance again. Couldn't get hired anywhere that ran a background check. Last I heard, he was working under the table for a friend's landscaping company. Living out of a rented room behind a gas station in Columbia. He has no car. No friends. No future. Even his family cut ties after he blamed his own kids for ruining his reputation. Eli and Taylor are doing okay now. Therapy helped. They both asked to stop seeing him after a few visits. They saw who he really was. I didn't poison them against him, they just watched. Taylor told me one night, I don't think he ever really loved us. That broke me. But I didn't lie. I told her, he doesn't know how to love right. But that's not your fault. Now here's where I have to own my part in all this. I stayed too long. I believed him too many times. I smiled through the pain. I lied to my own friends and kids just to keep the peace. I told myself that forgiveness made me stronger, when really it just made him bolder. And the truth is, I didn't get strong until I got angry. Not screaming angry. But the kind that settles in your bones. The kind that says, no more. After everything, I had to face that part of myself too. The woman who let a man cheat, lie, and steal for years just because I was scared to be alone. So yeah, I burned his life to the ground. But I rebuilt mine from the ashes. Nikki and I aren't friends. But we stayed in touch long enough for me to know she pressed charges, too. He gave her an STD. One that can't be cured. He knew. Didn't tell her. She sued him for medical damages. Settled for $12,000. She used it to move back to Ohio and get out of debt. She sent me one last message before she left. You saved me, even if you didn't mean to. It's been over 2 years. I own the house. I got promoted at the dental office. I'm not rich, but I sleep well. The kids are thriving. Eli made the basketball team. Taylor wants to be a vet. We laugh more now. We eat dinner on the floor sometimes and don't worry about perfect. Ross still sends birthday cards. The kids don't open them. Sometimes I think back to that birthday party. How loud the silence got. How everyone looked at him like they were seeing him for the first time. And how good it felt to say, "Happy birthday, Ross," knowing I had finally stopped being afraid. If you're in a relationship where you feel like you're going crazy, like nothing adds up, like you're begging someone to love you right, you are not crazy. They are just lying. And you don't have to burn your life down. You just have to stop saving theirs.